Okay, members of the media, thank you very much for coming to this media conference this afternoon, merely to update you on the current situation from the government side. I know you have already have a lot of information available through the various mediums that you have acquired information from. I will give you the update as of today of what we have received on Tropical Cyclone Ula. I will also be referring to the GDO7F that has already passed because most of the issues that we currently have is actually based on that one. Good. Okay, the purpose of this briefing or presentation to you is to give you an overview of both the tropical disturbances that we have had on GDO7F and currently on Tropical Cyclone Ula. And also to give you the an overview of the response activities by government on the ground, including our advisories to the public. That is the situation that we overview that we have. We know that tropical depression number 7F has already moved away and no longer poses a threat to Fiji, but it has left certain scars with us here in the country. Tropical cyclone Ula, according to the forecast, is actually on the eastern side of Fiji, and it is moving west-southwest. That is from the advice that has been given by our Dismac office. Currently, it is still under category 3, and it is now affecting the southernmost parts of the Lau group, especially the islands of Ongea, Fulanga, Batoa, and also Onilau. At its current track, based from the record that has been given by Dismac, this will continue to this evening and perhaps to early tomorrow morning for these areas. And because of that, there will be destructive winds around this area, some at storm force level, and outside of that, Kambara, also to Ulakamba areas, they will be feeling the gale force and so forth. So for us, because of that system, the Tc Ula has not left the country. It is important that we should know what we should be doing. Next slide. Okay, we've already covered that in our last briefing. Next slide. The activation that we have also covered in our last briefing. Next slide. And also on the national and subnational coordination. Next slide. That is the situation overview. You will note that we have put the GDO7F. I already mentioned to you that the impact that we have on the ground is actually based on the tropical depression number 7 that is already left. Those are the records that we have. It may differ from some of you who may have obtained some recently. That the deaths on our records based from the police record is still with us, is still 3. The missing is 4, and the number of evacuation center that is currently open is actually 1, and the number of evacuation in that evacuation center is actually 139. The details of the deaths we've already known. Savanada Vuani, Joshua Koli, and also Timothy Moli. The missing, what we have, the majority would also have this: Nigel Mani, 34 years, and Rajnil Reddy, this from the western side, and Yakub Kab from the central, and then just lately we have David Seru, also on the central division side. In terms of the impacts on the ground, the one that I've mentioned about the oil evacuation center that is currently open is actually at the Nambua Primary School, where we are actually having these 139 passengers who were stranded yesterday. They were actually on their way from Natobi to go to Nambualu. Unfortunately, the boat did not arrive, so they had to be built elsewhere, and that is where they are at the moment. Okay, in terms of the evacuation centers, I've mentioned that. Next slide. In terms of shipping, Patterson has confirmed just this afternoon with us that the Nambualu service will continue as from tomorrow. We have not heard from the other shipping companies here. In terms of the flight service, the domestic flight, all operational, and also our international flight, that too is all operational. In terms of the utilities that we have, Some of the systems that are currently affected in terms of water supply through RKS and also Queen Victoria School, Korovo area, Levuka area, they have issues with their water supply. Next slide. In terms of roads, Western divisions and the Northern division, they are clear. The central, within the central area, there's been some areas that are still being worked on. And for the Eastern Division, especially from Levuka, we have still closures in some of the areas. And the main one on the Mbureta crossing, the Mbureta bridge has actually been repaired. And now it's open to all traffic, and they are now being able to move to Mursal, where people from Levuka, they come to this side of the island through Peterson shipping. Yeah? Next slide. Power supply in the Central Division through FEA. Some of the areas that are being affected by the power cuts. The FEA, they're actually working around the clock to ensure that by tomorrow all FEA power lines will be working again. For the Eastern Division, especially Levuka and Ovalau, and in northern, a few areas at Korowiri in Maduata, and also the village of Vivili in Sepsau. In terms of advisory, this is important. We would like to advise on small boats, especially the open ponds that are being traveling, especially in the Eastern Division waters. It would be advisable to cancel their trips as of now until the all clear is given. And because we also have rain now and again, some of our creeks, some of our rivers, and some of our water areas are flooded. It would be advisable, especially to our children, during this festive season, for them from refraining from swimming. As we know, 2 of the deaths you already have is actually been alluded to the unadvisable use of water. And it's also important to mention to the public that the tropical cyclone is still here with us, Ula, even though it is concentrating in the southern Lau. The impact, some of the strong winds that can come from there, and also the rain that can follow, it can affect us. So it is important to note that this tropical cyclone has not moved away, and it is important that we should be able to take care of ourselves, and especially our advice to our younger children. And the last one there is that safety is paramount, and its government is actually focusing on that. But unfortunately, there has been seen over the last few days people who are actually not adhering themselves to the advice that has been given, and unfortunately some of the lives have been unnecessarily taken. Next. Our way forward, we will continue with the monitoring of tropical cyclone Ula, the focus of the NRC regarding the coordination of the restoration of essential services, and we continue to coordinate with our divisions, especially now with the divisional EOC Eastern in terms of the preparedness and the safety of the communities in the Lau group. At the end of this tropical cyclone Ula and the TDO7F that has already left the country, there will be damage assessment made around the country in terms of what is actually being damaged. That will be led by our divisional commissioners, the provincial administrators, and the district officers. We will collect information you can get information from us as we will continue to be activated. And after all the assessment has been made, we will provide a report to the council, and we intend to have that by before the end of January, so that if there are any need for some sort of assistance, that the council will decide on that and make appropriate recommendation to cabinet. Okay? So that is where we are at the moment, members of the media. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Have you received any situation reports on the impact of the cyclone in Lau and all those affected areas?
Yes, we continue to receive reports from the Eastern Division, it is downstairs, and so far there has not been any adverse report from them on their contact with the islands. But the islands of Ono or Kambara, they have been experiencing strong winds, but there has not been any impact of any information back with us that there has been any injury or houses been taken down or. Any other?
So 109 evacuation centers.
139 evacuees in Nambua Primary School. They're being billeted there. I'm sure by the first boat tomorrow to Nambua, they will leave on that one and they will have to close that evacuation center.
Can you just tell us more about the 10-year-old boy, David the Sil?
This is at Ravo. He was swimming with his friends on the creek yesterday and then he disappeared. Ravo here in Tele. Okay, if there is no other, thank you very much. And we may have to call for another one tomorrow, but I think we are looking at a better scenario now as the tropical cyclone Ula is moving away from the country. Okay. So,